and in this video I will be covering the Spirit Barrage Mundunugo's Witch Doctor build for Season 20. Now, this is not a Legacy of Dreams build, so I'll say that right out the door. This does run a set. This build is capable of pushing GR 135 and if not higher, depending on the quality of the gear you get. So as part of my new way of doing this, I'm going to go over the skills and then I'm going to go over the gear. Just to kind of let you know what skills you're running, and then you'll see the gear and understand where those skills come in for those. So starting off, we're running Spirit Barrage with the Spirit is Willing, Locust Swarm with Pestilence, Big Bad Voodoo with Ghost Trance, Soul Harvest with Languish, Piranhas with Piranado, Spirit Walk with Jaunt, and then for our passives, we'll be running Blood Ritual, Grave Injustice, Confidence Ritual, and Spirit Vessel. Now for our cubed items, we'll be running Mask of Jaram. Pets deal 200% increased damage. The Barber, instead of dealing direct damage, your Spirit Barrage now accumulates on the target. When you stop casting, it explodes, dealing 500% of the accumulated damage to all enemies within 15 yards. And then finally, Ring of Royal Grandeur reduces the number of items needed for set bonuses by 1 to a minimum of 2. Now for our equipment, we'll be starting off with a weapon and working our way around. This runs Sacred Harvester with fire damage, percentile damage, intelligence, attack speed, crit hit damage, and intel from augmentation. Sacred Harvester, Soul Harvest now stacks up to 10 times, and it also runs 150 maximum mana from an emerald in the socket. For our gauntlets, we'll be running Mundunugo's. I'm going to probably butcher the name of this set bonus's name so many times, so just bear with me on this. They have some weird names for some of the gear in this game, and I can't pronounce all of them. So we're just going to say the set piece for the gauntlets. Runs intelligence, attack speed, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, intel from augmentation. Now for the set bonuses, we'll just go ahead and run into those real quick. For a 2-piece set, Big Bad Voodoo now follows you and lasts twice as long. For a 4 set, gains 60% damage reduction for 30 seconds when you enter the Spirit Realm. And for 6-piece, Spirit Barrage deals 20,000% increased damage plus an additional percentage equal to 5 times your mana regeneration per second. For our shoulders, we'll be running the set's robe with intelligence, vitality, negative 10% damage to elite monster attacks, intelligence from augmentation, and 3 amethyst in the sockets. For our helmet, we'll be running the set's headdress with a diamond in the socket. This runs intel, crit hit chance, intelligence from augmentation. Secondary stats are arcane resistance and gold pickup radius. That's not a surefire stat that you'll need. From the diamond, we're getting cooldown reduction of all skills by 12.5%. and 15% Spirit Barrage damage. For our amulet, we'll be running Traveler's Pledge. This has cold skill damage, crit hit chance, intel from augmentation, and an Enforcer legendary gem in our socket, which increases the damage of pets by 56.40%. That's at a level 138 legendary gem, so keep that in mind. That does affect the percentage of the item depending on the level of the legendary gem. The Traveler's Pledge Endless Walk set bonus is, while moving, damage taken is reduced up to 50%, and while standing still, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%. For our bracers, we'll be running Lacumba's Ornament with cold skill damage, intel, vitality, crit hit chance, intel from augmentation. Now, Lacumba's Ornament gives you reduce all damage taken by 6% for each stack of Soul Harvest you have. For our offhand, we'll be running Gazing Demise with damage, intelligence, vitality, crit hit chance, mana per second, and intel from augmentation. This also has maximum mana and Spirit Barrage damage. The Gazing Demise, Spirit Barrage gains the Phantasm rune. Each active Phantasm lasts twice as long, increases the damage of Spirit Barrage by 150%, and also increases the attack rate from Manitou Specters. For our first ring, we'll be running the Compass Rose, which goes in hand with the Traveler's Pledge. This runs intelligence, attack speed, crit hit damage, intel from augmentation, and reduced duration of control effects by 20%. This also has cooldown of all skills reduction by 8%. And then this ring has a Bane of the Trap socketed. I'm losing my train of thought here. As a Bane of the Trap socketed into it, that increases damage against enemies under the effects of control and pairing effects by a percentage, and gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies within 15 yards by 30%. For our secondary ring, we'll be running Ring of Emptiness with damage, crit hit chance, intelligence from augmentation, and a Bane of the Stricken in our socket. This has each attack you make against an enemy increases the damage it takes from your attacks by a percentage. Gain 25% increased damage against bosses and Rift Guardians. You deal 300% increased damage to enemies affected by either your Haunt or Locust Swarm. And then for our boots, we'll be running Captain Crimson's Waders. This has intel, vitality, armor, intel from augmentation. Physical resistance is kind of a useful secondary stat, but it's not a primary one, as well as the gold health pickup radius, but that one's a little bit less vital. I would definitely go for resistance over the pickup radius. And it also has percentage to Spirit Barrage damage. The set for Captain Crimson's Waders, bear with me. For a 2-piece set bonus, you get 6,000 life per second, reduces cooldown of all skills by 20%, reduces all resource costs by 20%. At a 3-piece set bonus, damage dealt is increased by your percentage of cooldown reduction, and damage taken is reduced by your percentage of cost reduction. For our pants, we'll be running Mundunugo's Decoration, Intelligence, Vitality, Armor, Intel from Augmentation. This can also have 2 amethysts in the sockets. And finally, for our belt, we'll be running Captain Crimson's Silk Girdle. This is part of that set, where you get the 3-piece bonus from is your Ring of Royal Grandeur, so keep that in mind. That is a necessary thing to get the 3-piece bonus from this. The Captain Crimson's Silk Girdle gives you intelligence, vitality, life percent, armor, intel from augmentation, and potential life after each kill and physical resistance. Those are secondary stats, however they are nice secondary stats. I definitely would take physical resistance and life after each kill over like the health pickup radius and stuff like that. Those are nice stats, but not for climbing. Reason being is because gold does not drop in critter rifts, so anything that what's it called? There's the one set that gives you armor for gold picked up, which would be amazing for GR grinding if GRs drop gold. However, they do not, so that's one set that's just completely nullified once you go into GRs. Now, granted, there are a lot of speed builds that run that for survivability, and it is an amazing build a lot of the times. I don't generally run off of pre-built speedrun builds. I usually create my own based off of usually the gold one, and I just try to beef out my damage as much as I can so I can just pretty much fly through anything that it requires me to. But anyways, that covers the Spirit Barrage Mundunugo's Witch Doctor build for Season 20 of Diablo 3. Forgive me for the slaughtering of pronunciation in this video. I hope this helps you out as much as possible. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. I'm trying to do these more often. I would love to do videos where I could show gameplay of how to run these builds. I just don't have the time to do so. But that's a high hope thing right there, where it'd be nice to do that for you guys, especially with Diablo 4 coming out hopefully at the end of this year still, depending on the state of the world and everything. But stay safe out there, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up with the content on Diablo 3 and any of the other videos I do, and thank you so much for watching.